Today on the channel, the Empire strikes back with the vintage collection, Princess Leia and Han Solo. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for our daily Star Wars unboxing and review. And today, from the vintage collection, we've got Princess Leia and Han Solo from The Empire Strikes Back. But for all your Star Wars needs and a whole lot more, hit up Big Bad Toy Store. Link in the description below. So we're unboxing more vintage collection figures, and we say it all the time. The vintage collection really made to be kept on card. The figures are okay, 3 3/4, better than the power of the Force without the charm is what I would say. But very cool packaging, very cool throwback packaging. Really would love to have a mint on card wall of these, just like my G.I. Joe wall. Just not in the cards for me. You can't be a completist and mint on card completist for everything as much as I want to be. Maybe one day, who knows, but probably not. Not going to happen. But I did get these back in the day very cheap. Some of these vintage collection figures are really interesting, as some really peg warm, and then they go to all the discount retailers out there, the Marshalls, the Rosses, even Nebraska Furniture Mart, Furniture Store, I've seen these in. So really strange getting both these for $5. It just feels weird. Where then you got some vintage collection figures that are through the roof, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I guess it just all depends. Leia, Han, we've had many over the years. That probably doesn't help making these worth a ton, but it is what it is. They're cool to have. The Leia, the Han, two the most popular Star Wars characters of all time. I think you could say that with very easily. But I had to pick these up. Like I said, $5 each. I've never wanted to turn down a Han Solo and a Leia for $5. So let's do it like we normally do it. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it, unbox it, talk about it for each one. But we got to go ladies first. You know, ladies always go first. That's what has to happen, especially at my house. I got 2 daughters and a wife. I always go last. Me and Lemmy, we're in the back. That's the way it goes. But there it is. There's Leia. Empire Strikes Back. First thing I noticed when I look at this card, what do you notice? What's the first thing you notice? Leave it in the comments. First thing I notice is the picture here being so dark. You can barely tell what the heck's going on there. Just terrible photography. It feels weird that they put this on the packaging, especially with the dark vintage collection packaging. It kind of gets lost in the background, I would say. I don't know if that's the first thing you notice as well. I do like the blue background behind Leia's figure. I think that does help with the white figure to kind of make it pop. But it's lost in translation. I do love the old school Kenner logo. You guys know that. I'm a sucker for the olden days. And Kenner was a big part of my childhood. Love the Empire Strikes Back logo up there. Very cool. That very cool throwback inspired packaging from Hasbro, Kenner, Disney, whatever we're calling it today. On the back, you got a little list of characters that are out there. I see him. I see him hiding up there at the top. My boy, Zutton. You guys know Zutton Mania. We love Zutton. One of the best figures of the vintage collection. The best vintage collection figure of the year, if you ask me. And then down below, I really don't like all this warnings, classified stuff. It's just ridiculous how much stuff is on the side of this package. It's just the way it goes these days, though. So really nothing fun, no explanation of what Leia's up to or anything like that. A little bit disappointing, if you ask me. Soaking this one in from the front, very small. I always see this and I always think, boy, she looks really little in the package here. Is what it is, though. She does have a little Stormtrooper-esque blaster, which makes sense because she stole the blaster from the Stormtrooper in The Empire Strikes Back. So that does make a lot of sense. This is Princess Leia Bespin Escape. I did forget to mention that. Choking hazard, small parts for kids under 3. But let's see. Let's see what all the fuss is about here. Let's see what Leia's up to. See you later up high. All right, plastic prison time. We'll start with that. Very white, blends into the light, of course, in the plastic prison. It's interesting the blaster isn't all black like the traditional Stormtrooper one. It's got a little bit of a gray gunmetal-y kind of color to it. Very interesting, with a little bit of silver sparkle. So why is this? Because it's hers? Just kind of strange. I don't mind it. It's not a deal breaker for me, but I found that to be a little strange. See you later up high. Oh, we're at the uprights there. Watch out. Articulation on these, much better than the Power of the Force days and some of the later series, Phantom Menace, Power of the Jedi, you guys know what I'm talking about. You do get knee articulation, you get foot articulation, you get hand articulation, you get elbows, you get the shoulders, you get the head, you get the waist. That's a lot for a 3 3/4 figure, if you ask me. Weapon does fit in her hand. She does have a trigger finger even. So very cool details with this one. I actually do love the face scan on this one. It looks just like Carrie Fisher. Just a little bit small. I mean, she's definitely a small character, and if we're scaling right, maybe this is correct. But just looks a little smaller than normal. And it seems like her thighs and legs ride up a little higher than they normally. It just kind of looks a little off. It's not terrible. She's got some grime. It's not pure white. It's not like a white wedding dress. She's got some grime to it, some yellowing, some discoloration, as she should. She's been out fighting the good fight, as Triumph once told me back in the day. You don't know Triumph? Look up Triumph. Canadian's greatest trio that's not Rush. There you go. But yeah, I do notice that right off the bat. Sometimes the joints on these are a little stiff. They are a little stiff, but not terrible. I'd prefer them stiff to loose, that's for sure as well. They do got her hair in that crazy kind of bun. I don't even know what she's doing. I can't even put my hair up if I wanted to. I can't tie a tie with my eyes closed, but this thing is quite the show there. It's interesting too. They got like the black plant numbers or whatever. What's it say? F1 1889 10231. I wish they could have had that in like clear writing so you could see it, but it really takes away from the back. But once again, I've said this before, it's not like we display our figures this way. We're displaying them this way, so it's not that big a deal, but it's just a little irk right there. But can you really complain a lot about a $5 Star Wars figure? I mean, if it's your last $5, you said, okay, I got $5 left. That's all I have. This is my life savings. And I see this Leia at this discount store. You know what? I'm putting the $5 down. I'm putting it down. I'm taking it home. Then you might be disappointed, but you know, if you got a $20 bill in your wallet and you only spend $5, you're like, yeah, it's Leia. I still got $15. I can go to Wendy's. I can get the spicy chicken combo with medium fry and a Coke, like a young Kyle. That's what you can do. So you can still have money left over even after that. And then what do you do? What do you do with that couple dollars left? Maybe you take your Jeep to the car wash and you get it cleaned. And then there you go. There's your $20 and all fun and a good night. You got a Leia figure. You got your Jeep cleaned. You got a Wendy's, I think a number 6 combo. Man, you're living the good life. Just like Princess Leia, living the good life. So there you go. She's not going to stand. Oh, she stood. I can't believe it. I do need to invest in 3 3/4 stands. I got to figure something out. I need hundreds of them. Cheaper the better, but also they got to work. So I got to look into that for my Star Wars collection. And Han Solo will be a part of that Star Wars collection. So once again, for the Empire Strikes Back line, here's Han Solo. Discount fever with a little bit of disco fever in that a little hippie pose. Very sassy Han Solo picture there on the card. Found that to be a little interesting. But he did do that in the movie, and that's what it's from. Disco was all the rage back then. The Bee Gees were running free and running hard. Even our boys Kiss, they were even doing a disco album. So, you know, I can't fault Han for striking a pose on the Vintage Collection card, especially the Empire Strikes Back carding. I got the green background instead of the blue here. Han, always a favorite of mine. My favorite Star Wars character as a kid, before I knew better and I came around to the Admiral Akbars of the world and the Wickets, of course. And don't forget Chewbacca. But I still do like Han Solo. A key character and one of my favorites of all time of any movies, that's for sure. How about the back package? Same kind of thing as Leia. Just got a list of different characters of who's who and who's for sale. This Han is very cheap still. I bet you can get this for $5 on eBay. You'd have to pay more in shipping. That's always the weird thing. It's always weird buying stuff on eBay when a lot of times the shipping costs more than the actual figure. Something just doesn't feel right about that, but so is the postal rates these days. So nothing really to explain on the back of this package that we haven't seen before. Carding on this one's a mess, as you'd expect with a $5 figure. What does he got here? It's Bespin as well. He's got his traditional blaster. He's got a little, what is that, like a welding stick? That's kind of what it is, and he's got his welding goggles here, so that's kind of neat. That's something different than the 1,000 other Han Solo figures I have out there. So I do like that. So let's open it up. Let's get Han out. Let's check out the plastic prison. Han up high. See you later. Got a little instruction packet. I'm not even going to look. I don't even need to. See you later. Get out of here. We do got to take a look at the plastic prison, though. You guys know how it goes. There it is. There's Han. Looking only like he can look. I would say that on this one. Like I said, I like Han. I like the way this one looks. My best guess is I will display this one as Mechanic Han Solo. That's probably the way to go. You know, my grandpa was a welder. He died 2 years ago, maybe, or so. But he was a welder by trade, and I always, you know, you got to respect those guys that are out there welding, doing stuff with their hands. I just never trust myself enough to do that kind of stuff. But my grandpa was, you know, a man's man. He would get out there. He'd be welding. He'd be working on vehicles. He'd be working on farm equipment. He was never scared to do any of that kind of stuff where, You know, sometimes I say, did I go down the wrong road? I'm not a handsy guy like that. See you later. All Kyle can do is build an action figure display. That's about as handy as I am. And some would say that's not handy at all, except my wife. You know, when I met her, I said, you know, she's like, oh, what do you do? I said, well, I collect action figures and I build action figure displays. And she took one look at 24-year-old Kyle and said, you know, marry me and take me forever. That's what she said. And here we are 17 years later, you know, and I always say, one of these days I'm going to drop dead of a heart attack. And guess what? This will all be yours. All yours. So just enjoy. I don't know how we got talking about that, but let's talk about Han Solo a little bit more, huh? Han's got some extremely stiff joints. So stiff I thought I was just going to break his arm off. Luckily that did not happen. Same articulation as Leia. A little skinny down in the boot department. I think he must be skipping calf day. He's also got an extremely small neck. He looks like he's wasting away. I don't know what happened there. Oh, I'm scared I'm going to break these arms on these guys. Articulation, there we go. Woo! Whew, sweating that one. It barely almost broke off, I thought. But I like this Han. When I think of Han Solo, I always say, when you close your eyes and you think of a character, what do you think of? And this is kind of how I picture Han Solo. The neck a little skinny and all, but this is the outfit. I think of the white kind of shirt underneath with the coat jacket over the top. That's what I think of. Does have a holster for his blaster on the side. Got to utilize that. I always love those kind of things. Got to put these goggles on him. Oh, what do you know? The goggles don't fit around his head. Of course, why wouldn't they? Are you kidding me? What are we doing? Doesn't even fit. I guess they rest up on his head, but I'd have to stretch him to get around his... Oh my gosh. I guess they kind of fit. Kind of. Looks a little ridiculous, but hey, there it is. Now he looks like Robin. So this is a 2-in-1 figure. Now he's Robin from Batman. So there you go. Han Robin. Very cool, but like I said, I got to put that welder in his hand. Got to do it as a tribute to my grandpa. There you go. There it is. I remember as a little kid going to my grandpa's, he would weld me up stuff. I said, Grandpa, this was back when I was getting into G.I. Joes. I was young. He would make stuff out of wood, like bases and stuff for me, and he'd get some iron and bend some things around. Okay, here's a Cobra base and stuff. I remember him doing that kind of stuff. So that's a lot of toys. They bring you back to the good old days when you're a kid and your grandpa says, oh, what can I make out of all my scrap metal? I'll make old Kyle. He used to call me Buck because I cost $1 million when I was born is what he would say. But yeah, so that's what we would do, and we would build stuff. So there it is. But there it is, Han Solo or Robin. You can choose your own adventure with this one. He's going to look like Robin in my display. I think this is the way to do it. This is the way I will do it. So better, solid, $10. I can't complain about this. I actually feel good about this purchase for $10. Two very solid figures, two must-have figures. I know you got 1 million Leias, I know you got 1 million Hans, but what's a couple more? Never hurt anybody, that's for sure. So you guys tell me your thoughts in the comments, though. I want to know if you pick these up. Most vintage card collectors out there, I think, keep it on the card. You tell me if you're one of the wackos like me that likes to open up these vintage collection figures. Tell me that down in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to follow me on social media, SirPaul64 on Twitter, _Kyle_Peterson on Instagram. So many deals. So many things going on there. So make sure you're following along, at least on one of them. And then not belowthecollar.com anymore. It's Pro Wrestling Tees /Kyle Peterson. Get your very own t-shirts. Support the channel. That is truly the best way to support the channel. And you'll look really fashionable in a Turtle Anxiety shirt. I guarantee. So for Leia and Han, I'm Kyle. I'll see you guys all real soon.